When basketball legend Michael Jordan was turned away from an upscale restaurant in a struggling small town, he could have gotten angry. He could have used his fame to shame the establishment. He could have walked away and never looked back. Instead, he did something no one expected, something that would change the town forever. This is the story of how one closed door led to countless new opportunities and how the greatest revenge isn't revenge at all. Before we dive in, let us know where you're watching from in the comments. And if you love timeless stories that inspire, don't forget to subscribe to Timeless Stories for more incredible true tales. Now let's get into it. Michael Jordan stepped out of his sleek black SUV, stretching his tall frame after a long drive. His teenage nephew, Daniel, bounced out of the passenger side, eyes wide with excitement. "Uncle Mike, I still can't believe you brought me on this trip," Daniel said, looking up at the man who wasn't just his uncle, but a legend to millions. Jordan smiled, ruffling the boy's hair. "Someone's got to keep me company while I check out this kid everyone's talking about." The evening air was crisp as they approached the Briarwood Grill, a well-known upscale restaurant. Through the large windows, white tablecloths and sparkling crystal glasses gleamed under chandeliers. "Looks fancy," Daniel whispered, suddenly aware of his basketball sneakers and hoodie. "Food's supposed to be great," Jordan replied, "and don't worry about how you're dressed. You're with me." As they walked inside, the hostess, an older woman with perfectly styled blonde hair, looked up. Her name tag read Ms. Valerie Collins, manager. Her eyes widened slightly before her expression shifted to something less welcoming. "Good evening," Jordan said with his familiar smile. "Table for two, please." Ms. Collins glanced down at her reservation book. "I'm sorry, but we're fully booked tonight." Jordan raised an eyebrow and glanced past her. At least 5 empty tables were visible, and a couple was being seated at that very moment. "Are you sure?" he asked politely. "Looks like you have some space." The manager's smile tightened. "Those tables are reserved. We have a very busy evening ahead." Daniel tugged at his uncle's sleeve. "Uncle Mike," he whispered, "they're letting those people in right now." A young waitress named Emma stood nearby, stacking menus. She looked uncomfortable, avoiding eye contact but clearly listening. "Maybe there's been some mistake," Jordan suggested. "We don't mind waiting." Ms. Collins shook her head. "I'm afraid not. We're short-staffed tonight. Perhaps you could try the burger place down the street." She said the last part with a slight curl of her lip. Jordan stood silent for a moment. This wasn't the first time something like this had happened. Famous or not, he felt Daniel stiffen beside him. "Is that how it is?" the teenager asked, voice rising. Jordan placed a calming hand on his nephew's shoulder. "It's okay, D." "But it's not okay," Daniel protested. "They know who you are. It doesn't matter who I am," Jordan said firmly. "Let's go." As they turned to leave, the waitress Emma dropped a stack of menus. As she bent to pick them up, she whispered just loud enough for Jordan to hear, "I'm so sorry." Near the door, they passed a family being welcomed warmly by Ms. Collins. "Your usual table is ready, Mr. Peterson," she chirped. Jordan paused, his hand on the door, his expression neutral, but his eyes took in everything. The empty tables, the nervous waitress, the manager's fake smile. Outside, Daniel was fuming. "I can't believe that just happened. You're Michael Jordan. You should..." "Should what?" Jordan asked calmly. "I don't know. Call someone? Post about it online? You could probably buy that whole restaurant if you wanted to." Jordan chuckled. "And what would that solve?" Before Daniel could answer, Ms. Collins's voice drifted through the closing door. "Certain people just don't fit our establishment's image, no matter how famous they think they are." Daniel spun around, ready to march back in, but Jordan caught his arm. "Not worth it, kiddo." "How can you be so calm?" Daniel demanded. "Doesn't it make you mad?" Jordan looked back at the restaurant for a long moment. "Mad? Number. But it does make me think." He pulled out his phone. "Let me make a call, then we'll find somewhere else to eat." "Who are you calling?" Daniel asked. Jordan smiled mysteriously. "Just someone who might help me with an idea." As they left the Briarwood Grill, Jordan made some calls. They drove through the struggling town, past empty storefronts and faded signs. Finally, they stopped at Rosie's Diner, a small, bustling place filled with laughter and the smell of home-cooked food. Unlike the first restaurant, Rosie's welcomed them with open arms. The owner, Rosa Martinez, recognized Jordan instantly. "My grandson has your poster on his wall," she beamed. Jordan smiled. "Just looking for some good food, ma'am." "Well, then you've come to the right place." As they ate, Rosa shared stories about the town's struggles. The old furniture factory had closed, taking 300 jobs with it. The town was divided. Some people wanted to push out newcomers, while others believed fresh ideas were the way forward. Jordan listened carefully, then asked, "Who owns the empty store next door?" "Old man Jenkins. Been trying to sell it for years. Why do you ask?" Jordan simply smiled and wrote something in his notebook. The next morning, word spread fast. Something big was happening. Delivery trucks arrived, construction crews got to work, and whispers filled the town. Within weeks, empty buildings were transformed. The space next to Rosie's became a community kitchen offering affordable meals and culinary training. The local high school gym received brand new equipment. A youth center got much-needed funding. Even the old factory was set to reopen, bringing jobs back to town. The Briarwood Grill, it struggled. Word got around about what had happened to Michael Jordan that night. People started taking their business elsewhere. At the grand opening of the 23rd Community Kitchen, the town gathered as Jordan stepped onto the stage. "A few weeks ago, I was turned away from a restaurant," he said. "I could have fought back. Instead, I decided to build something better, a place that welcomes everyone." The crowd erupted in applause, and just like that, a town once divided found hope again, not through revenge, but through action. Michael Jordan had turned rejection into opportunity for an entire community. Before you go, we'd love to know, where in the world are you watching from today? Drop your city, state, or country in the comments below, and let's see just how far this incredible community reaches. If this story touched your heart or made you think differently about kindness, opportunity, and second chances, go ahead and smash that like button. Every like helps spread this powerful message to someone who might really need it right now. And don't stop here. Your journey into powerful, life-changing stories is just getting started. Our next inspiring video is waiting for you right on the screen, so click and let's keep this wave of motivation rolling. Thank you for being part of our Timeless Stories family, and we'll see you in the next story.